श्री जी साहिब जी को बुलावने जाओ, देव जी तुम लाल उत्तम को ले जाओ, सामे आए बुलावना हम, तहाँ सी विदा हुए के आए, अगर ये पहुँचे रिझाए मिलते राज को, सेवा करिए समेत कबीले, रिझाए मिलते राज को, सेवा करिए समेत कबीले। श्री जी साहिब जी को बुलावने, बोले श्री राम के धनी की जय। While we are doing the Beetak Discourse, and it is an auspicious occasion that we are explaining the divine meeting between two consorts of Paramdham, two leading consorts of Paramdham, namely Indravati Sakhi and Sakundal Sakhi. It is the meeting between the incarnation of Lord Supreme in Prananath and Chhatrasal Maharaj, the next heir apparent to the Sri Krishna Pranami faith, who takes the lead of awakenings in their sadhs after Prananath leaves his material existence, material body. So this marks the holy occasion of the transition of awakening from Prananath to Satguru Maharaj. So it's about 1740, 1741 when Mahamati Prananath, 1739 actually, it's when he reaches Mo and Panna, and then he does the Leela of awakening for 11 years in the holy land of Panna. But before that, let me remind you that today marks the 4th centennial celebration of the advent of Tartam into this world. 400 years of the advent of Tartam. We've gone through a lot during these 400 years. Started in the state of Gujarat, Jamnagar, where Tartam was revealed in the year 1678. And this year is 2078, according to the Hindu calendar, started by great king Vikramaditya. So this is Bikram Samvat 2078. It's been exactly 400 years of the advent of Tartam into this world. And as you all might be aware and cognizant of, that the advent of Tartam marked the arrival of transcendent understanding into this world that the whole world was awaiting for. Nijanam soi jahir hua jaki sabduni rah dekata mukta desi brahmanda ko aaye brahmatma sata. So with Tartam, not only Tartam came, but 12,000 consorts came into this world of awakening for the 3rd time. The first time in Brazil, the second time they went to Ras, and the 3rd time in this world of awakening in this Saganese Brahmanda. So in terms of timing, it's been quite a few years. 400 years is not a short span of time. Yet, the glory of Tartam, the glory of Prananath is largely unknown to the world. So, while we are celebrating the 400 years of the advent of Tartam, we should not be satisfied with where we are. Like I've already said, I've repeatedly said in this discourse, much more could be done. But in the meantime, it is not a moment to be upset about. It is said that the great people see opportunities in every problem they see, while the weak see problem in every opportunities. So since we are not capable of propagating the teachings of Prananath to a level that should have been, there are quite a few opportunities for all of us and have a name in history. Just like the 12 moments who sacrificed their lives, who were ready to sacrifice their lives, their name and their glory is imprinted in the hearts of Sundar Sadhji to the present day. It is a moment that we explore and have a name in the history of Pranami faith for ourselves. So it offers a wonderful opportunity for all of us to go forward, propagate the faith, and propagate the teachings of Mahamati Prananath to the world. And in doing so, receiving the grace of Sri Raji Maharaj in every step of our way. So, congratulations, Sundar Saji, on this auspicious occasion on the 400th year of the advent of Tartam, as we are celebrating the arrival of Tartam. There are few things that we should keep in mind. That we propagate the teachings of Mahamati Prananath as Mahamati Prananath had brought it for humanity, not deviated from it, not propagating it in a way that the society accepts it. Because when novelty comes to the world, it is first ridiculed, it is violently opposed afterwards, and eventually it is accepted by the mass. So if we go forward to the world with the true message of Mahamati Prananath in the beginning, the world will have difficulty accepting it because the world is engaged in ritualistic aspects of spirituality. While Mahamati Prananath's knowledge, Mahamati Prananath's teachings are transcendent. So the world will not be able to fully embrace it. So there will be some challenges, there will be some hiccups along the way, yet the relentless efforts, the perseverance that we display take us a long way in propagating the true teachings of Mahamati Prananath and establish religious harmony and global peace. As Mahamati Prananath envisions the establishment of one world religion. The disciple of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, the great disciple of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, once said, if the world was to find, was to believe in, was to practice one faith, one religion, then that one particular religion would need to have everything in it. The devotional ingredients for those devoted souls, the transcendent understanding for those who would want to delve deeper into the teachings and analyze the teachings of it. The rituals for those who would just engage in rituals. The songs, the bhajans, everything had to be there. And make no mistake that Tartam has all of this in it. It has meditative concept. It has the concept of rituals in daily seva, daily prayers of Sri Rasyamaji, daily service to Rasyamaji. It has devotional songs for those who would want to enjoy the glory of those devotional songs and dancings. So it contains everything to satisfy all different kinds of souls in their pursuit of salvation. So dear Sundar Saji, it is our responsibility now that we work in coordinated way in our efforts to propagate the teachings of Mahamati Prananath. So I hope that this is the message we take home from the 400th year of the advent of Tartam to the world. With that, let's continue our discourse on the Beetak. Yes, we've already said we are nearing the end of the Beetak discourse as we've come to Panna. Lal Dasi was sent by Mahamati Prananath to awaken Maharaj at Satrasal, thinking that he could be the one. He could be the Sakundal Sakhi. as Devkaran, the nephew of Maharaj Satrasal, was awakened and sent to notify Satrasal Maharaji about Mahamati Prananath's interest in meeting him. He goes there but does not return promptly. So Mahamati Prananath sends Lal Dasi, Uttam Dasi, Jivan Dasi, among others, to go to the palace of Satrasal Maharaj and relay the message. But it does not happen promptly. So they go there, do the discourse on Bhagavatam and other Hindu scriptures, because Satrasal Maharaj, as you might know, is a Hindu king, is a devout Hindu king. So he should be explained on the Vedic teachings. And finally, with the awakened consciousness, the articulation of Lal Dasi inspires Maharaj Satrasal, and he wants to meet Mahamati Prananath. As we talked about the other day, Nirapeksham Munir Manin Santam Nirvairam Samadarshanam Anubrajya Maham Nityam Puyayatyam Pranayatuni. With the dust of my true devotee's lotus feet, I desire to purify the material world, says Sri Krishna in Bhagavatam, which are situated within me. Thus, I always follow the footstep of my pure devotee. So, as it is said, Bhakta ki vash mein Bhagavan, even the deities submit to their true devotees. Satrasal Maharaj asked Lal Dasi to invite Prananath to Panna, the holy land of Panna. So Mahamati Prananath arrives in Panna and he temporarily stays in Amarai Ghat at the bank of Kilkila Nadi, and Dera kiya Amarai mein thora thand jhande ki chittalai. So he arrives in Amarai Ghat near the city of Panna. So it was the river Kilkila Nadi, as Mahamati Prananath is followed by 5,000 Sundar Satsi to Panna, to Amarai Ghat. They need to have some accommodation. That's a large number of people. So they want to drink water because the place of Panna is hot. So they want to drink the water from Kilkila Nadi. But as they were trying to do so, the locals of Panna came running towards the Sundar Sats and asked them not to drink water from Kilkila Nadi because the water of that river was poisonous. So Mahamati Prananath feels for a moment, if they want to get to drink the water from Kilkila river, how would they be able to survive with 5,000 Sundar Sats, with no apparent source of water? They would have a difficult time. So what Mahamati Prananath does is, Bisaki Nadiya Amrita Kinho Sukha Savana Pahunchaye Vajana Kirtana Hota Rata Dina Sunata Moksha Palabad. With his divine grace, he invokes the divine power within him and he touches the Kilkila river with his lotus feet and purifies the water. Since he is the Lord Supreme, there is nothing that he could not do. As it is said, Kartum Akartum Anyatha Kartum Iti Brahma. The Lord can do virtually anything. It was only one thing that Lord Supreme could not do. That was to engage his consorts and show them suffering within Paramdham, because Paramdham is a land of bliss perfection. So within that realm of Paramdham, he could not witness, he could not display, or he could not have those consorts experience duality. So that was only one thing that he could not do. But any other things, as it is said, God is all powerful, God is omnipresent. So it was not unreal for Prananaji to do that. Now, he purifies the water of Kilkila Nadi, and the Sundarsats could have a comfortable stay in Amarai Ghat. So Mahamati Prananaji is in Amarai Ghat. Sundarsatji are large in numbers, about 5,000 of them gathered around Mahamati Prananaji. They are there to meet the king of Mau, Maharaja Chhatrasal. Maharaja Chhatrasal, with his small number of armies, have already liberated Panna, Mau, Mahoba, some of the local places. A small area is already liberated that, but he is awaiting the arrival of Buddha avatar. He is holding a coin with him that marked the name of Buddhaji and his image. So he is waiting for the arrival of Buddha avatar that could guide him and help him in his mission to liberate the Bundelkhand. So as it is stated that Mahamati Prananaji one evening just navigates around the city of Panna, Amarai Ghat, and then he saw in elevated place a boulder, and he realizes that that particular land was calling his name. And that is the place Mahamati Prananaji hoisted a flag of awakening, as we call it Jaganiko Jhanda. And it was the place one time Lord Shiva was traveling. He was flying a plane on the sky, a divine plane, a flying saucer. As he was passing by, he lands his plane and prostrates in that place. He repeatedly prostrates in that place. There's nothing, it was just a boulder. And Goddess Parvati, the bliss part of Lord Shiva, asked her the question, why are you prostrating before this place? There's nothing there. And Lord Maheshwar responds, Padmavati kena sarade bindya prishta virajite indira namasha devi bhavishyati kaloyuge. This is the place where Indravati, Indira Sakhi, would come and establish a holy pilgrimage site in the Kali Yuga. And this place would be known to the world as a place for the liberation of souls. So that is the reason why I'm prostrating before this place. So it is the same place Mahamati Prananaji hoists a flag of awakening. Mahamati Prananaji comes to Amarai Ghat and finds a place where the process, the mission of awakening takes shape and speed. Janda gadio prema ko chahudisa piu piu hoye na jane sajunda mein kona shuhagina hoye. Mahamati Prananaji hoists a flag. And the Sundarsats are singing the glory of Prasyamaji because this is the place they are going to establish a holy pilgrimage site. So, Diwan Devkaran, the nephew, Maharaja Chhatrasal, realizes that Chhatrasal Maharaj is not in Panna, he is in Mau, because a Mughal army leader, Sher Afghan, had attacked Chhatrasal Maharaj. So Chhatrasal Maharaj was in Mau, defending his kingdom. Chhatrasal Maharaji sent the message to Prananaji and others to leave the women and older Sundarsatji behind in Panna and requested Prananaji to arrive in Mau with few Sundarsats because he was busy fighting off, staving off the armies of Aurangzeb. And Mahamati Prananaji, he wanted Mahamati Prananaji to have, he wanted to have the darshan of Mahamati Prananaji. He wanted to meet Prananaji in Panna, in Mo, as Mo was, he had a palace in Mo. Taba chale aap parne se Mo pahunche jaye. Mahamati Prananaji arrives in Mo. Baiji Maharani and other women and older Sundar Sadhji are left behind in Panna. Mo mein Tiduni darwaze dera kiya. Titta, on the vicinity of Tiduni Darwaza, Mahamati Prananaji is staying with few other Sundar Sadhji. And all of the villagers of that place of Mo are coming to the discourse of Mahamati Prananaji, as wherever he goes, that is what he does, awakens people with the transcendent understanding that he has. He doesn't talk about anything else other than the spiritual stuffs. He unravels the teachings of Vedas, he unravels the teachings of all the Vedic scriptures, whoever comes. Some people come with the questions of Vedanta, some people have questions from Bhagavatam, some people ask questions from Bhagavad Gita, some people ask questions from Purana Samhita and all those Vedic scriptures. Yes, Mahamati Prananaji is erudite in all those scriptures. He articulates his understanding in such a way, in a convincing fashion, that everyone becomes the follower of Mahamati Prananaji. Everyone glorifies Mahamati Prananaji for his understanding. And that is the place where Maharaja Satrasal comes. Raja pees badal ke darsana kiya tahi. He changes his looks. He doesn't come as a king, but he comes in a different looks, and he gets the darshan of Mahamati Prananaji. And he comes the second time. He's wearing the clothes of an army, a sikari. Fera duji bera vesa badalake kara sikara kusaja. He comes the second time to have the darshana, to have a glimpse of Mahamati Prananaji. And at that time, Mahamati Prananaji was surrounded by Sundar Sadhji giving the discourse on different concepts of Hinduism, of Ras, and Braja Leela, the Sri Krishna Leela, and the glory of Satguru Maharaj. He's talking about all different kinds of things, and Sundar Sadhji are listening with such an attention that it felt as if they were enjoying every bit of what he was saying. As Mahamati Prananaji was sitting in the middle of Sundar Sadhji and giving the discourse, Chhatrasal Maharaj was again there for the second time. So Maharaja Chhatrasal came. He's a little bit far away because he was a king, so he did not want to trust anyone right away. Because back then, there could be so many enemies in different forms. They would have a different look. They would hide their identity in every way possible, and they would try to inflict harm. So the kings and the emperors had to be careful back then. So Maharaja Chhatrasal was far in distance, and as it is a tradition in Vedic culture that whenever we meet someone, we greet them. So there are different ways of greeting in Nepal. A lot of places they say namaste or namaskaram. In India, they call it pranam. Or for those people that follow particular faith, they have their own way of greeting. For example, all the Sundar Sadhs greet each other by the word pranam or pranamji. If when the followers of Radhe Radhe meet, then they will greet Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. The Vaishnava followers would greet each other by Jai Sri Krishna, or things like that. But there is a tradition, a commonly held tradition that whenever we meet someone, we greet. So Maharaja Chhatrasal also greets Prananaji, and he says, Kahi Babaji Ram Ram, Baba Baito Ai. Satrasal Maharaj greets Mahamati Prananaji, Babaju Ram Ram, Babaju Ram Ram, he greets Mahamati Prananaji. And Mahamati Prananaji sees Satrasal Maharaj. He realizes that Maharaja Satrasal is in hiding. He's wearing a different costume. He hasn't come there as a king, but as someone, an ordinary person. So Mahamati Prananaji asks Satrasal Maharaj to come closer. Jai baithe bichhone par bahut kinare dure, he's far away. So Mahamati Prananaji asked him to come closer. So gradually, Maharaja Satrasal comes a little closer to Prananaji, and Mahamati Prananaji asks him to come closer, come closer, come closer, come closer. He continues to ask him to come closer. And as he comes close enough, then Mahamati Prananaji says, Kahi avato pade tuma pandame ava kaha jaoge bhage. So now I have captured you, I have captured your attention. I have brought you forth to me. Now you cannot run away from me. So Satrasal Maharaj was an emperor. He was a Maharaj, he was a king. Although he did not have a large number of large number of soldiers, yet he was a king. So he said, Taba kahi Maharaj ne nahi eso brahmanda mein koi. There is no one in this universe, there is no one in this world who could capture me, who could get my attention, basically, on a literal terms. There was none in this world who could get me, and it could only be done by Buddhaji, the awakened soul. The Buddhaji that he had been holding the coin up and awaiting for 12 long years. It had to be Niskalanka Buddha avatar who could be the only one being able to do so. So Satrasal Maharaj sold the coin to Prananaji. It would be someone who would have a coin like this, the Buddha avatar, the incarnation of Buddha, who would be able to have my respect, but nobody else. Tenaki chapake rupaya dekho tuma hamase. So Satrasal Maharaj sold in the coin to Prananaji, and Mahamati Prananaji smiled. And he lifted the blanket that he was sitting on, and he showed him a numbers of coins with the mark of Buddhaji in it. So Prananaji showed him the coins and Satrasal Maharaj realized that Prananaji Maharaj was indeed the Buddha avatar, the incarnation of awakened soul, the incarnation of awakened consciousness. So as he realized that, Satrasal Maharaj comes, greets Prananaji, and submits himself in the lotus feet of Prananaji. He began to shed his tears because he had been waiting for the moment for the last 12 years. He was struggling so much without the grace of Buddhaji. He was waiting so desperately for the arrival of Prananaji in his life. And Satrasal Maharaj felt that finally the luck was in his favor. So as he had the darshana, he makes arrangement to welcome Mahamati Prananaji into his palace. So he returns to his palace and asks his queens if they wanted to have a meeting with Prananaji. He tells them that the divine personality that I have been waiting for so many years has arrived in my kingdom. So if you guys want to meet him, if you guys want to have his darshan, then you should do so. So Chhatrasal Maharaj had the chief of his army, Baldivan, and Baldivan also. Chhatrasal Maharaj asked Baldivan if he wanted to meet Mahamati Prananath. So when he appointed Baldivan as the chief of his army, Chhatrasal Maharaj asked him that he wanted to liberate Bundelkhand from the clutches of Aurangzeb. But Baldivan was not ready for it because he did not feel that they had enough weapons and enough manpower to fight off the Mughals. And Chhatrasal Maharaj had reminded him that once Buddhaji would come to his place, to his kingdom, then all the troubles that they were going through, the resources that they were lacking, would not be the problems. So Chhatrasal Maharaj comes to Prananathji again and asks for his blessings because Seraph Khan had attacked Chhatrasal Maharaj in his kingdom. And at that time, Chhatrasal Maharaj only had a force of 300 soldiers. So without the grace of Prananathji, he did not see any chance for him succeeding in defending his kingdom. So तब श्री राज रुमाल लेके सिर पर धरा महाराज हाथ धरा सिर ऊपर हुए मनोरथ पूर्ण काज. He held his hand over the head of Chhatrasala Maharaj and blessed him for victory. And he was told, "It is my blessing, Chhatrasal, that you would succeed in every single battle that you would fight from this day onwards." And he was told, "Chatta tere raj mein dhak dhak dharati hoye jita jita ghoda pag dhare tita tita fatte hoye." So he was blessed. Wherever your horse would run, that land would begin to shiver and you would succeed wherever you fight. So Seraph Khan, the Mughal army chief, had more than one of the Mughal chief of army, had more than 3,000 manpower, more than 3,000 soldiers with him. And Chhatrasal Maharaj has about 300 of them. So Prananathji blessed Chhatrasal Maharaj, but Baldivan, the chief of Maharaja Chhatrasal's army, and other soldiers are not really feeling confident about it. And they felt that if they would be victorious in this battle against Seraph Khan, then indeed they would accept Prananathji as the incarnation of Lord Supreme. So what they feel is that they would submit to Prananathji if they become victorious. In a समय लोग लश्कर के कहें, जो हम ये पावे फतेह तो यही हमारा हक है. Then indeed Prananathji is the Lord Supreme. All the armies of Chhatrasal Maharaj say in unity. जब उससे फतेह करके आए श्री महाराज तब लोगों ने कहा बिना श्री राज न होए काज. Without the grace of Prananathji, it would not happen possible as they become victorious. And of the 300 armies that fought off the 3,000 armies of Seraph Khan, none of them even got injured. It was such a blessing of Sri Prananathji that Chhatrasal Maharaj became victorious. So when they come back victorious and they were welcomed in the palace, everyone felt that they would need to submit to Prananath. And they all became the disciple of Mahamati Prananath. Chhatrasal Maharaj also submits to the lotus feet of Prananath and realized that it was about time that he becomes his disciple. फिर श्री महाराज देखिया पटजो तारतम अब बिहेवार छूटत ही मुझसे जाग खड़ी आत्म. As Mahamati Pranaji awakens, Chhatrasal Maharaj and reminds him of Braja, Ras and the Leelas of Jagani among other things, and reminds him, awakens his soul with the knowledge of Virat from the lowest of the worlds, the ethereal worlds, all the way to the eternal abode of Paramdhanam and everything in between. Chhatrasal Maharaj feels for a moment that now he won't be able to fight, because all he wants to do is listen to Mahamati Prananathji's discourse. All he wants to do is engage in the devotional service of Sri Raji Maharaj. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to kill anyone for that matter. So Chhatrasal Maharaj says, I do not feel like fighting anymore. Such was the case with Arjuna in the great battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he saw Bhishma Pitamaha, he saw his brothers, he saw his relatives, he saw his religious teacher Dronacharya. When he saw Kulguru Kripacharya, among others, fighting against him, he says to Lord Sri Krishna that, hey Sri Krishna, what would I gain by killing my own people? Even if I win, that would come at the cost of all the lives that I hold so dear. If I win, I would be the king, but not having these people around me, not having Bhishma Pitamaha, not having my spiritual guru Dronacharya among others, would not be satisfying. I don't want to be a king. And if I lose, everything is gone. So what is the purpose of my fighting? Why am I even fighting? So Arjuna hesitates to fight at the beginning of the war of Kurukshetra. But Sri Krishna reminds him that you are not killing anyone. You cannot kill anyone. He says, Nainam Chindanti Sastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha, Nasainam Pedayantyapo, Nashkoshayati Maruta. You cannot kill anyone. The soul never dies and body never lives. The body eventually perishes, like it or not. Whether you kill it or whatever happens, the body always leaves the soul behind. So you're not killing anyone. So fight, Arjuna. You have to fight. You gotta fulfill the responsibility of a Kshatriya. Fighting is your dharma. And here in this great war of Kurukshetra, you are fighting for the preservation of dharma, for the preservation of righteousness, for the preservation of truth, for the preservation of sincerity and honesty. You are fighting the evil, so you have to fight. Now he is told, if you lose, you'll make it to heaven. And if you win, you are the king. You're not killing anyone. So why are you hesitating to fight? That was the theme of Sri Krishna, that he had nothing to lose by fighting. Rather, he was glorifying his name in history for fighting for truth, fighting for justice. And eventually, Arjuna gets ready to fight. Here, Chhatrasal Maharaji is unwilling to fight, unwilling to liberate Bundelkhand, because all he wants to do is dedicate his time in the service of Sridaji Maharaj. It is not wrong, but Mahamati Prananath is looking for a king who could fight off the terror of Aurangzeb, because the efforts that he made in reminding Aurangzeb the true value of Islam was not largely successful. So the Mughal army, the army of Aurangzeb, is still battling the Hindus, still demolishing the temples of Hindus, still killing Hindus left and right, increasing taxes, converting Hindus into Islam by force. So Mahamati Prananath wants that stopped, and he finds Chhatrasal is the capable king, capable Hindu king who could take the lead, who could take the charge of liberating India from the encroachment of Mughals. Dear Sundar Saji, Mahamati Prananath reminds Chhatrasal Maharaj of his responsibility. While his Sundar Sat is a awakened soul, the first and foremost responsibility is to submit to the lotus feet of Sridaji Maharaj and engage in devotional service of him. There are greater purposes that Chhatrasal Maharaj was to serve. He was going to take a lead of awakening Sundar Sats. He was going to take a lead of the war that the Hindu kings were fighting against the Mughals. That is why King Chhatrasal became the Maharaj, the greater king, the great king. That title was given to Maharaja Chhatrasal by Prananath himself. So Mahamati Prananath it was arranged that Mahamati Prananath returned to Panna, and there was a palace of Chhatrasal Maharaj in the Haveli of Chopada, where Baiji Maharani had already awakened the Majali Rani, because Chhatrasal Maharaj has few queens. The second queen of Chhatrasal Maharaj was awakened by Baiji Maharani, and Mahamati Prananath was welcomed in Panna and the Haveli of Chopada. So Mahamati Prananath was welcomed by all the Sundar Sats, including the associates of Maharaja Chhatrasal, and it was a glorious moment. So Mahamati Prananath was welcomed from Amarai Ghat to Chopada, and there was a place for him to stay, and there was a big door where Mahamati Prananath was stepped out of his thing, and Chhatrasal Maharaj does the arati of Mahamati Prananath. As we do the arati of Sridaji Maharaj at the temple, Chhatrasal Maharaj does the arati of Mahamati Prananath. That is the arati that we sing in Seva Puja in our devotional service every day. We sing it as such. Purana Brahma Brahma Se Hare Ananda Kanda Parimire Balaji Ananda Kanda Pari Sivasana Kadika Adika Inchita Sesana Pavata Parimire Balaji Sesana Pavata Pari. So Chhatrasal Maharaj is a poet, has this feeling towards Prananath. Today, Lord Supreme himself has come to my place. Purana Brahma Brahma Shenyare. The Lord Supreme, who is beyond the imperishable, infallible Brahma, who is full of bliss, infinite bliss, whose glory is something that the world cannot sing. Lord Shiva, the son of Lord Brahmaji, the saints and sages, Sesh Narayana, and everyone wanted to know about him, wanted to know him, wanted to find him, but Sesana Pavatapari, they could not understand him, they could not find him. Lord Supreme was beyond their understanding and beyond their reach. Agama Janike Nigama Kahave, the Vedas tried to find God. The Vedas wanted to find the Lord Supreme, yet they could not. That is why they were known to be as Nigam. Ni means no. Gam means having an understanding of. So Vedas could not have an understanding of the Brahma. Koji, Koji, Pachihari. They pursued and they pursued and they pursued, but they failed. Janiki Mooladhani Angana Apani Sogara Ai Hamari. So such Lord Supreme Sri Prananath Ji, knowing that I was one of the consorts, came to my place. And who did he came with? Sri Thakurani Ji, Sakyana Sudhavala Lekara Sangha Padare. Such divine Prananath Ji, such divine Lord Supreme came to my place with his bliss part, Syamaji Maharani, and all the consorts. Triguna Pastake Panda Parete So Panda Niravare. The Triguna, Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha were within the realm of Maya and forgetfulness. And the world was in the realm of that, where the world was surrounded by the three gunas, and such panda, such limitation was removed, such bondage was removed, and to the lotus feet of such divine personality, the supreme divine personality, Wari Jaume Apane Piya Para, I would like to sacrifice again and again and again to his lotus feet, because I cannot even sing his glory. Sobha Mukha Sena Avi, I cannot sing his glory because he is the supreme divine personality who has all the glory of the world and beyond. And Singhasana Asana Vaitare, he finds the divine place for him to stay, and Chhatrasal Maharaj Ji sings his glory. Dear Sundar Saji, such was the glory of Mahamati Prananath Ji. So we have witnessed Prananath Ji going through some normal stuffs, normal struggles that we go through. He is having the diarrhea. Some of the times he is forced to stay starved. He does not have enough food to eat. And there are some moments where he is treated as the Lord Supreme. It is because, now you may ask a question, if he is the Lord Supreme incarnate, why is he going through the troubles as a normal person would go through? The answer to that question is, Prananath Ji is also one of the consorts of the Lord Supreme named Indravati. And Indravati, as a leading soul, had repeatedly asked Raji Maharaj in Paramdham to send him along with other 12,000 souls to witness suffering. So she came to the world to witness suffering and forgetfulness. So she would be one of those, having to experience all those episodes of suffering and devastations and desperation. So that is what she experiences. Yet within that soul resides the glory, the zeal of Sri Raji. So he has done things that even the deities cannot do. Just by touching the poisonous river of Kilkila, he makes it pure. He purifies the whole river just by a simple touch. He has such a glory. He has such a divine power. So Mahamati Prananath Ji experiences all different kind of things. Here at the palace of Chhatrasal Maharaj is God, the welcome of the Lord Supreme. And Chhatrasal Maharaj, the great king of Bundelkhand, is showering praise upon praise on Prananath. Dear Sandarsaji, on tomorrow's discourse, we'll talk about the establishment of great Padmavati Puridham. So there are three main pilgrimage sites for the followers of Sri Krishna Pranami faith. One is Nautan Puridham. It's known as Sri Pas Nautan Puridham, where Satguru Sri Devchandraji Maharaj, which was established by Satguru Sri Devchandraji Maharaj, the place where Tartam came. So it is known as the Adyapit, the first pilgrimage of Sri Krishna Pranami followers. The second one is Sri Pas Mahamangal Puridham in the city of Surat, where Mahamati Prananaji initiated, took the lead of awakening Sundar Sadhji from that place. So it is called the Jagani Peeth, because that is where awakening started by Prananaji officially. And this third one is known as Sri Pas Padmavati Puridham. It is known as Mukti Peeth. It is where the souls will gather until they would be fully awakened. All the 12,000 souls would be awakened, because in Paramdham we are witnessing this game of suffering, residing in Paramdham in the divine meeting of Mul Milava. And there, all of us will be awakened together. It says the awakened souls of this world now would reside in the hearts of Prananaji in Padmavati Puridham. That is why it is called the Mukti Peeth. On tomorrow's discourse, we'll talk about the establishment of Sri Pas Padmavati Puridham and the other episodes of awakening in Padma, in Padmavati Puridham. With that, we'll conclude that session for today.